Oh, geez, sorry about that. Right as I was going live. There we go. Guys see me? Can you hear me? Let me chime in with a thumbs up on the chat if you can, if you don't mind. Thumbs up, all right. Thanks, Nia. All right. I'm new with the streaming thing, so bear with me, please. Let's see. Let me get going on I'm gonna chat up over here. How's everybody doing this morning? Good, I hope. Oh my God. There we go. Suzanne Rizzo, Neha, Alex Sedelki. Did I pronounce that properly? I hope I did. Angel Tabot. Good day from Sydney, although it's actually 11:30 p.m. Yeah, it's hard to hit everybody in the morning here. That's for sure. Looks like the camera's a little crooked. All I have is my iPhone to stream live. I don't have an HDMI capture card for my camera, so I can't do that yet, but we're getting there. All right, so today we're gonna make some classic French toast, and I'm gonna sip on a cup of coffee because it's just after 9:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, so all of my East Coast buddies here are probably sipping coffee along with me. So classic French toast is pretty straightforward, pretty simple recipe. I left all the ingredients and measurements in the description box below the stream here. And I'm gonna make this a live a video on the channel, so you can watch it anytime if you need it as a reference. First thing we're gonna do, we need eggs. Eggs and a dairy product make a custard, and that's a huge ingredient in French toast. You got your custard, you got your toast, you got butter, syrup, and all these. So if you want to make 7 to 9 pieces of French toast, I'd go with 6 eggs. I'm going to crack those. And I'm looking at the chat as we go here, so I can answer questions or chit chat along the way here. So I got 6 eggs. And I'm using, for dairy, I'm going to use half and half. You can use milk if you want to. You can use heavy cream, but for French toast, I prefer to use half and half, and I'm going to use a cup and a half here. A cup and a half of half and half. Typically in a custard, you have some cream of some sort here, so. And a lot of French toast recipes call for whole milk, so why not split the difference and just half and half. Oh, thanks, Rouge. Rouge. Sorry, I should get my readers on. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a little stir, okay? Just to break up the eggs. This isn't the bowl that we're going to be dipping our bread into, though. I'm going to use a pie pan for that because it's a little shallower. If my table rocks a little bit, it's because it's a cheap prep table. Saving up for something a little nicer. But I don't have that just yet. But every time you guys watch a video and you see an ad, that helps me get a little bit closer to that nicer prep table. I definitely hate ads, but YouTubers, that's typically their source of income. So, okay, next, we're gonna add some dry ingredients. I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons of white sugar. You can use light brown sugar too, or you can even use some maple syrup if you want to, or honey. Honey will work. Something to sweeten up the custard a little bit. Next, I'm going to do a half teaspoon. Here it is. Half teaspoon of sea salt. This helps kind of pronounce some of the flavors that are in the liquid here. Have you ever used brioche for your French bread? Yeah, I have. I just don't have it on hand. So what I am using is a country loaf. It's kind of like a sourdough, actually. It's a day or two old, and I also have a piece of Italian bread here that I'm going to cut up for the rest of my family. But I have some of this country loaf too that's been left over, and it's kind of dry. You can kind of hear it. But brioche would work too. It's pretty rich bread. It's got a lot of eggs and additional butter in it, so you might have a hard time sucking up some of the liquid because of that. But I think that if it's old brioche and it's kind of dry, it'll do good. And you see a lot of restaurants offering brioche French toast on their menu. So we have sugar, salt, eggs, and half in here. Now a couple spices that I like to add, one being ground cinnamon. I'm going to do a half teaspoon of that. That's a nice flavor. These are pretty optional if you don't have them on hand right now. Totally understand. But I always have ground cinnamon in my pantry. And I'm going to get some freshly grated nutmeg. Hold on a sec. I'm going to grab a microplane here. So you can add other spices. I mean, cardamom would probably work in here. A little bit of cardamom would be nice. But I always go with a pretty standard nutmeg and cinnamon flavor. There. That's good. I'd say that's probably about a quarter teaspoon. Let's see. Do I have a brioche recipe? I do somewhere. I haven't made brioche since I worked in restaurants. It's been a while. I usually just make a focaccia at home because I don't know, I find it simpler, get more out of it. Brioche is delicious, and eventually I'll make brioche at home. When I do, I'll share the recipe with you. How about that? All right, so we have our nutmeg, our cinnamon, sugar, salt, half and half, eggs. Now we're going to add a little bit of extract. We're going to go with about a half teaspoon here. And if you don't have measuring spoons, you can kind of eyeball this stuff. Oh, this is a brand new one. Hang tight. Yeah, brand new vanilla extract. All right, half teaspoon. There we go. All right, so I got this stuff in there. Move it out of the way and clean up the little egg counter here. What's up, man? Good morning. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's get here. And I've seen some folks say that incorporating some of the ingredients before you add the cream helps sort of integrate them better into the liquid. Try that. I always just kind of dump it all in and go. But I don't know, if somebody tries that, let me know if it works. Thank you. Appreciate it, Rizzy Eats. Thank you very much. All right, so we have our French toast liquid, our dipping liquid, our custard. A custard. If you tempered the eggs here, just use this as a creme if you wanted to. It's a custard, so you have to vary in eggs. Now, with the bread, as I was saying earlier, day-old bread is the best. So I have some country loaf that I've cut up into 3/4 inch, 1 inch pieces here. Oh, somebody just questioned me. You put a simple video for pancakes or mug cake. It'd be great for this quarantine period. Yeah, I agree totally. Pancakes, absolutely. We make them at home all the time. Happy to do that. Would a live video work for you, or would you prefer a recorded and edited version? Just curious. All right, so bread. I'm using day-old country loaf here, sliced about 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick. That's a good thickness for French toast. And because it's day old, it's dried out, it's lost some of its moisture. You can hear it again. What that's going to do is it's going to allow it to absorb more of this delicious liquid instead of the liquid that's already in the bread. That's what you want. So, but if you don't have day old bread, you can use regular old, actually, I have regular old sandwich bread right here. Regular old sandwich bread. That'll work. It'll give you French toast. Might be a little wet, and the bread might be hard to handle after you steam it, but it'll still work. So don't use it if you got it. Use what you have at this time. I mean, we don't go out to the store that often, so really have on hand. Rouge Red, thank you, man. Thank you very much. All right, so I'm gonna go over to the stove here. I'm gonna bring the camera with me. A pan that's kind of preheating, a cast iron pan, and I'm gonna dip some of this bread and start cooking. And keep firing questions away if you have them. I'm still looking at the chat here. Let me grab my phone. All right, we're coming over. Coming over here. Oops, sorry. Probably a little too close for comfort there. All right. Can you guys see the pan clearly? Okay, so preheated pan. I'm gonna bump this up and heat a little bit. I'm still here. Got my computer over here. All right, bumping up the heat a little bit. Grabbing my custard and my bread. Oh, can't forget coffee. Cheers. Cool, you see it, good. Just want to make sure it's a decent angle. I can probably bump this up a little bit too. And then, yeah, maybe that's a little better. Can't really see me, which really isn't that important. You need to see the food and the food cooking. If you hear me, hi from Saudi Arabia. Hello, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Audio is cutting on and off. Is that true? Can you guys still hear me? Daniel Garcia says the audio is cutting on and off. Mic is cutting out. Thumbs up if you can still hear me. Cuts out sometimes. We're having some audio issues here. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to unplug the lav mic, and we're just going to go straight from the iPhone, the audio. Oh, you can hear me now. All right, thumbs down if you can't hear me. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Everybody, all at once. Chris, we can hear. Okay, thanks, Chris. Hey, buddy. How's it going, man? Good morning. Goes in and out. Okay, I'm going to go straight to the iPhone. All right. This audio isn't quite as good, but can you hear me now? Yeah, now. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, let's see. Can you hear me now? Very low. Yes. I know, the iPhone audio stinks. But I don't want you to not be able to hear me here. Yes, okay. We're just going to roll with it like this for now then. I'll deal with the little app mic later. So I've got my pan going. I've got my liquid over here. I'm going to pour that into this pie mold. That's a nice kind of shallow pan. It makes it a little easier to make your French toast in. So we got that. I'm going to cut some butter, about a tablespoon's worth. We can hear you. Okay, thank you. Sound is back and consistent. That's good. So I got a medium hot pan here. I'm using cast iron. It's a nice size pan. I can fit 2 pieces in here. So that's pretty important. I don't want to go one at a time. It'll take me forever to cook French toast. So butter's heating up. Pan's on medium heat. Going in with my bread. And I'm just going to dab the bread in the liquid here, this custard, just a little bit, maybe 10 seconds on each side. Not that long at all. I can smell the butter, it's browning. Oh man, it smells so good. Good morning, PDX Les. Good to see you. All right, I'm going in. This is the first piece. I'm letting the excess liquid here drip off, and I can feel that the inside of the bread is starting to saturate with the custard. All right, there's one. And I'm just gonna make 3 pieces this morning for you guys. No need for you guys to watch me make, a whole bunch for my family. But 1 plate is enough, right? French, yes. Who doesn't love French toast? We don't eat it every morning. But it's a nice treat every once in a while. All right, so I can feel the bread sort of soaking up that liquid. I'm letting the excess drip off again. And I'm going in the pan. There we are. Have some more butter on hand because you're going to want to add more to the pan as you're cooking, especially when you flip the bread over. Okay. Still here, guys. Still here. All right. Looks amazing. Love your channel. More content would be nice. I know, Daniel. I know. It's tough, man. I work 9 to 5. This isn't my full-time gig. So, I work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I have a family. It's really, really, really hard to put out more content, because I got to pay the bills, and I love my job. So I also love this. So I try to do it at least twice a month, every other week. If I can do more, I will. So here, I'm going to lift the camera up. You guys can, whoa. French toast just sizzling away in the pan. There we go. What's my profession? Oh, I was an executive chef for years. But when my son was born, I kind of missed the first year of his life. Really wasn't a participating parent, and I'm on medium heat. So yeah, so after a couple of years, I was a chef before I had my son, but after that, for a couple of years, it just got long and tiresome, and I got out of the profession. Now I do web design and web development, and I went to school for graphic design, so it was a pretty easy transition over. Just had to learn how to do a little coding. Yes, I was a chef for over a decade. Executive chef at 3 different restaurants, helped open up 3 different restaurants. But now I just get to cook with 4 friends and family, which is great. I enjoy that very much. So I'm gonna look at my French toast. Can you guys see how that's looking? Needs to go a little bit longer. I'm gonna turn up the heat just a teeny bit. Thanks, Chris L. Appreciate that. Surprised, yeah. I'm trying the live stream thing. I figured everybody's at home and we're kind of all in this together. And I'm cooking a lot more than I normally would. So why not share some of that? But all I have is an iPhone right now, and an old iPhone. And I know the quality probably isn't fantastic, but hopefully it gets us through this. All right, here we go. Whoop, wrong spat. Okay, now we're looking more like where we need to be. You see that? That's good. We've got some Maillard browning going on, some caramelization from the sugar and the custard, and then I'm sure there's sugar in the bread too. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add more butter to the pan, like so, and then I'm going to flip my bread. Make sure you get some butter under each piece, however you can. There we go. Sizzling away here, guys. Grummelmuck VT. Not specifically from that town, but I will say I am from Boston, so I grew up in New England. Spent a lot of time in Vermont at Stowe and Sugar Bush, Killington, all those mountains. I did a lot of snowboarding and skiing. And while we were up there, we stopped at some of the shacks and picked up maple syrup. Always picked up the grade B stuff. So that we always like the grade B, the darker syrup. But yeah, we got some lessons on how they make it. And man, Vermont maple syrup is fantastic. Oh, let's see, did I miss any questions here while my French toast is sizzling away? Paula asks as a dietitian. Nice. Food science. You know, there was a little bit of food science involved in when I went to school briefly for cooking, and we had to take some classes in food science and in food, what's the, I guess, dietitian food. I don't know. I'm stumbling here. I had to take some classes in that field. Vermont is the shiz. Yes, absolutely. Oh, no, but that's okay. You're not late. We're just cooking up some French toast. I've got another piece to cook here. All right, so I'm smoking a little bit. Heat's probably a little too hot. There we go, turning it down. Yep, I'm looking good here. Other side, maybe a little darker than I wanted, but we're still fine. I'm gonna grab my plate. They're gonna go right on a plate. Just like this. Like so. So we're 2/3 of the way there. What I'm gonna do, because my pan got a little too hot, trying to chat and cook and all that at the same time isn't always easy. Taking a paper towel, and no, it's not going to catch fire. I'm wiping out all that burnt butter. I'm going to start over with some fresh butter. Smear it around your pan, like so. We've got one more piece to cook here. So I am just letting it soak up a lot of this custard, but not so much that the bread starts to fall apart. Because it's day old, it has some structure, and you know it's gonna stick together, it's gonna stay together, whereas like fresh bread, if you were using thinner cut fresh sandwich bread, that stuff would be falling apart right now. So you'd have to soak it a lot less. All right, we're good. Letting this excess liquid drip out, and I'm going in the pan. Daniel, the temp is, I would say it's about medium. It got a little hot because I wasn't paying attention to it. But yeah, about medium heat. Cast iron pan here. Say this is about a 12-inch pan, 10 to 12-inch pan. Fits 2 pieces of bread perfectly. You don't want to crowd the pan too much. 2 pieces in a 10 or 12-inch pan would be just right. How do I get the fluffy look of a French toast? Well, what happens is when your French toast is cooking, everything is expanding inside the bread. That custard is expanding. So the bread's going to puff up a little bit. But as it rests, it's going to flatten down a little bit more. Everything's going to kind of compress back down to its normal thickness. So it looks really good right when it comes out of the pan. And it still looks great when you're eating it. But yeah, that puffy, when it puffs up, it looks really cool, really delicious. I'm just going to move the bread around a little bit, pick up some of that extra butter that's in the pan. Okay. This is real life cooking. Yes, it is, and I make mistakes in real life. I can't edit those out. It doesn't look as smooth and fluid when I'm not editing. It's amazing, you know, when you look at the stuff that's shot live and the stuff that's, you know, shot and edited, how much more professional and just how incredible the footage looks, how talented the individual looks when they're cooking. But I'll tell you, man, there's a lot that goes into shooting the videos, and there's a lot of mistakes that happen, and there's a lot of cuts, and there's a lot of reshoots. Trust me, I know. Okay, there we go. And I've got enough butter in this pan And I'm just gonna move the bread around to pick up that butter. I don't need to add any more at this point, since I'm only cooking one piece. I'm all right. I'm all right. My back's hanging in there. I'd love to have proper setup for this, but it's kind of hard. Yes, I did add some cinnamon. Actually, if you look in the video description box below the stream, there is all the ingredients and the measurements. Cook with E, what's up, man? It's French toast. Yeah, awesome. Hey, if you guys haven't been to Ethan's channel, Cook with E, go check him out. Awesome stuff. Fantastic, fantastic videos. He knows what he's doing. He has great content. He's a good guy too. So show him some love. All right. Not quite brown enough on that side, but we're first side looks kind of like that. Ethan, by the way, if you're still on, I owe you an email. Sorry, man. Just kind of hectic right now. Did you make the custard? Can you walk us through the ingredients? Because you didn't watch that. Okay. So this custard right here, I'm going to cut the heat to this pan so I don't overcook the French toast. The custard, there is. Tell you what, give me a second here. So I'm not so hunched over. I'll bring the camera back to the table and we'll talk a little bit about the custard for the folks that showed up a little late. So this is my last piece. I can feel there's a little bit of, yeah, it's soft, but I can feel that the custard's kind of set in there. It's a little firm. I've got good color on this side now, all right? So 3 big pieces of French toast. I'm gonna bring this back over to the other table so I'm not hunched over, and we'll finish up over there. Give me 1 second. All right, now looking this through. There is a haze in my kitchen right now. I didn't run the fan while I was cooking because it would be too loud. How was that? Does that work for you guys? All right, hold on, it's crooked. Oh, I don't know how people do this so smoothly when they live stream. Okay. Still looks kind of crooked to me. What about you guys? Yeah, there we go. All right, so I have my French toast. Let's talk custard. Let's talk custard. So in this pan right here, what's the next step? You know what the next step is to eat it. Custard real quick. Ingredients, eggs and dairy. I'm using half and half. 6 eggs to about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of dairy. You can also use whole milk. In addition to that, I add a little bit of salt that helps bring out the flavor in the custard and in the French toast. Some sugar, cinnamon, and freshly grated nutmeg. So all that together in a bowl, whisk it together really, really good. Make sure you don't see any whites or yolks floating around. Everything's got a nice homogeneous look to it. Okay, here we go. French toast, let me get some maple syrup. Now, I think the thumbnail had some powdered sugar on it. That's great and all. I don't want to eat that this morning though. It looks nice, but I'm not down with the powdered sugar this morning. Can you guys hear me? How is this? Better? Hopefully it's better. Okay, syrup. I'm gonna go with maybe 1/4 cup. That's a lot, but there's 3 giant pieces on this plate, so I need enough syrup for all of that bread. Perfectly fine, cool. So, I'm mean, it's time to dig in, right? There's nothing much else to do here. Perfection, yes, here. French toast. You can put butter on it. You can top it with maybe some bananas and walnuts, chocolate chips, Nutella, whipped creme fresh. I mean, there's a million things you could put on top of French toast, just kind of elevate it even that much more. But I'm kind of a simpleton when it comes to French toast. I like it pretty plain. There's plenty of butter on from the pan for me. And I'm just gonna dig in, all right? Looks amazing, thank you. Guys have any questions? Questions? Little Q&A sesh here. Yeah. It's proper. It's good stuff. Oh, you like the Scandinavian look? You know what that is, right? It's called IKEA. There. Bon appetit. Thank you so much. How old am I? Do you really want to know? Take a guess. How old do you think I am with this no hair on my head and mid-40s. Bingo. I'm not going to tell you my exact age, but yes, mid-40s. Late 30s, early 40s. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Yes, careful of Corona. Yeah, we're being very, very careful. We only go out to the supermarket and for essential items for the most part. So we're playing it safe. You thought 35? 27. You're too kind. No, definitely not 27. Question, guys, about this recipe, about cooking in general. Happy to take some questions right now if you have some. Yes, I really hope that you don't have COVID. I'm sorry to hear that. I appreciate your help and working on the front lines. That's greatly appreciated. I really hope that you're okay. Corona in Greek means crown. Yeah, well, the sun has a corona, right? This thing keeps tilting and it's driving me crazy. 39, yeah. How can I get the crust crunchier? The crust crunchier on my French toast? Well, if you're using older bread that's already pretty crispy, it's going to have a little bit of a crunch, especially around the crust. So not using fresh bread, using older bread will definitely help with that. When do I add the custard? Well, so I have my bread. So I'm basically setting up and getting ready to cook. Just envision that. I have my bread cut and ready, about 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick. And then I make my custard with the ingredients in the video description below the stream here. When I'm ready to cook, I got my pan preheated to about medium. Add about a tablespoon of butter in, and then while that butter is melting and browning slightly, dip your bread into the custard. Let it soak for about 10 seconds or so. Flip it over, let it soak for another 10 seconds. And then lift the bread up, let the excess liquid drain out, and into the pan they go. And then just cook till they're brown on each side, about 3 or 4 minutes, and you're golden. Do I prefer honey, maple syrup? Maple syrup on French toast. Hold on. Definitely maple syrup on French toast. I don't do honey. I like honey in other things, but not on French toast. Does normal sugar and butter caramel work for the topping? I haven't tried that. Butter and sugar melted together. No, I mean, maybe brown sugar? I haven't ever tried that. I don't know, give it a whirl. Let me know what you think. I would, if you're gonna try that, maybe use a brown sugar as opposed to just a white granulated sugar. It's just gone to midnight in Australia and you're up watching me. Midnight in Australia and you're watching me. Right on. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. What am I having for lunch? Well, this is so large, all of this here, that if I crush this for breakfast, I'm not having lunch. Yeah, caramelized apples sound fantastic. That's a great idea. That's fantastic. Yeah, sounds great. You're very welcome. Any other questions? Got a few more minutes before I crush this French toast. Can you use multigrain whole wheat bread? No, I think that's fine. Yeah. I think the most important thing with the bread is to make sure, if you can, make sure it's at least a day or two old. That's all. I did say that you could get away with white sandwich bread or wheat, just basic pre-sliced sandwich bread, but this stuff's cut pretty thin, and there's a lot of moisture in it already. So where is the moisture from the custard going to go in bread that already has a lot of moisture in it? It can't go anywhere. So when you use older, drier bread, it soaks up more of that custard liquid that you want because there's less moisture in the bread to begin with. What was your specialty? Which cuisine? Oh yeah. So I focused a lot on regional Italian cuisine. I'm no expert, but I did spend some time in Florence, Italy, cooking and learning. So when I came back to the States and eventually had a chance to run a kitchen, I focused on a pasta program. I did a lot of charcuterie. We had a cheese program, and a lot of that centered around regional Italian cuisine. Yeah, you can definitely dry the bread in the oven. I'll tell you what, there's an Alton Brown video somewhere where he makes French toast, and he pre-dries his bread in the oven the night before. So yeah, that's definitely something you can do. I wouldn't let the oven run, just put it in your oven on a rack, pre-cut, and just let it sit there overnight. It'll dry out some. As well as Indian food's fantastic. Oh man, the spices in Indian food, to die for. Love it. In fact, my 10-year-old son's favorite dish is tikka masala. And there's this one restaurant that we go to in town, Leisha, that is fantastic. They make incredible Indian food, and that's where we go for a tikka masala if I'm not making it at home. I'm not Polish, I'm half Lithuanian, so close. So yeah, I'm half Lithuanian and I'm half kind of mixed. So my mother's side of the family was Pennsylvania Dutch and English. But I live in the States, and I was born in the United States. Questions? Fire away, I'm here. Do I have an account on Instagram? Yeah, I do, and I wish I was more on top of it. I do post every once in a while. There's a link up in the image at the top of my YouTube page where I'm eating that cream puff. There's a little Instagram link. You can just click that. It'll bring you right over to my Instagram account. Yes, I'm a Yankee. Born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. And I'm living in Virginia now, though. Been here for almost 20 years. Awesome. Glad you guys are interested in these live streams. I just don't know how they're going to go. Obviously, I've run into some technical difficulties, and hopefully I can iron those out along the way here, but I'm glad you guys were able to join me. Really am. Glad there's some interest in this. And I'm only going to live stream if there's something semi-interesting. There are nights where we literally just have breakfast for dinner and I'm cooking eggs. Or we'll do just straight up hard taco night with ground beef, the real like Taco Bell style tacos. I know that's probably not interesting to you guys. There's really not much technique to it. So, I won't stream that stuff, but if I think that you guys will have an interest in what I'm making, then I'm definitely going to live stream it. Yeah, the focaccia video seems to be taking off. Absolutely. Yeah, it has quite a few views. Yeah, I think it's coming up on like 50,000 views now. I think it's my second or third most popular video for sure. Will churros in an air fryer work? Ah, man, I wish I could answer that for you, but I don't have an air fryer. So I usually just use a pot of oil on the stove. My guess is that, and this is not coming from any sort of experience here, if you were to try churros in an air fryer, what you'd probably need to do is pipe the churros out onto a sheet pan. Individually, pipe them out, and then put that sheet pan in the freezer and let the churros freeze so that they stay in one piece, you can handle them. Then take them out of the freezer, frozen, and get them in the air fryer that way. That way they're, you're not dealing with prosciutto, which you can't pick up and handle. Let's see. How are you calm? Can you please give us tips? It seems to me like you know how to keep your cool for a long time at least. Am I calm? Are you saying that I'm calm in front of the camera, or I'm calm given the situation in the world right now with COVID? Soothing in my speech. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a nice quality to have, I guess. The easier the recipes, the higher chances of us recreating them. You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. My wife has been telling me you need to do simpler recipes, quicker videos, stuff that is relevant right now, because we're not doing a lot of extravagant food. We're just getting by, Natural, wow. I certainly don't feel like this is natural for me. I don't know. I'm talking to I'm talking to you guys, but what I'm looking at is a camera. So it doesn't feel like I have, even though you guys are my audience and you're there and you're watching me right now, it's not like I'm up on stage in an auditorium in front of hundreds of people. It doesn't feel like that. So I guess maybe that's why it's a little easier. What's your favorite technique or blend of cheese on pizza? Christina Garcia. So again, when it comes to things like French toast or pizza, I'm a traditionalist. So my go-to is a classic margherita pizza, which has fresh mozzarella, and I put a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano on there. So my go-to is fresh mozz. But I do make other pizzas, and one of the other ones, especially my buddy Adam really likes, is a pizza that has fresh mozzarella. I use pecorino toscano, and then I put spicy salami on there, and I drizzle the pizza with some hot honey. And I get criticized for putting honey on my pizza all the time, but it's from people that have never tried it. If you put spicy honey on pizza with spicy salami, it's fantastic. Pagan or a Catholic? I'm neither. Actually, I was brought up Protestant, but I don't really go to church much. Yeah, I guess that's all I'll pretty much say on that. My wife and son are Catholic. The cheese knowledge is insane. I can't say that I know a ton about cheese, but I did work in professional kitchens. I was an executive chef for a while, so I have to know something. I have to know more than folks that weren't in the industry about cheese, that's for sure. To give the honey a shot. Yeah, Christina, I'm telling you, man, get some spicy salami. It can be soppressata, it can be like a calabrese style salami, it can be andouille. I don't know if you know what andouille is, but it's that sort of like pasty salami that you can spread. You put that on a pizza with some hot honey. Oh my God, incredible. Can you make one and show us? Talking about pizza? Make a pizza and show you guys? Combinations are for open-minded food lovers, absolutely. And the ones that criticize me are the ones that are not open-minded. And I encourage them to be more open-minded in my comment back to them politely, but sometimes that just doesn't work. Yes, the pizza. Okay, Suzanne, yeah, I can do that. So I have a little small portable pizza oven that I use outside. It's called an uni. I don't know if you've seen my video with me making a couple pizzas in that. There is one on my channel. Check that out. But I can do a live stream of myself making pizza for sure. Maybe maybe I'll set that up this week. We have some good weather outside. Honey one, yeah, the honey pizza is awesome. Roast lamb dip in honey, yeah, that sounds great too. What about roasting a lamb but making sort of a glaze for the lamb as it's roasting with honey and some fresh herbs and stuff? Sounds pretty good. Chicken and waffles with maple syrup. Oh yeah, chicken and waffles with maple syrup is fantastic too. Yeah, there's a restaurant in town that specializes in that called Mama J's in Richmond here, and it's fantastic. I'm gonna throw out a lot of Richmond names in my chats here because I want to support my local peeps. That would be awesome. Yes. Any other questions? You guys have any other questions? I'm going to wrap it up in just a few minutes here, but I'm happy to answer maybe 2 or 3 more questions before I go. Because of course I gotta eat this. It's okay, do your 9 to 5 and answer your emails. So yeah, my 9 to 5, I work for a small company in town. I'm a web designer, web developer. I used to be an executive chef, but I got out of that. So, but yeah, so I do that Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and I try to shoot videos on the weekends. You know, if I had more time, great, but you know, I need to work, and I love what I do. So you know, the weekends are pretty much the only time that I can shoot videos, and then I edit at night after I come home from work and cook dinner and all that. Crispiest looking videos on the web. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate that. We'll be waiting for your live stream for pancakes and pizza. I think I'll definitely do at least 2 more live streams this week. I just don't know what they're going to be on yet. Yeah, shooting cooking videos is fun. When you start getting into it and like trying to actually grow your channel, that's when it can be a lot of work and it can kind of get stressful. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm trying to grow my channel. I definitely want my channel to grow. I want more subscribers. I want a larger community. I want more views. I want all that. I'm not going to lie, the additional revenue is nice. I don't make a lot of money off of this by any means, but that little bit it's helpful, and it helps pay for the food, and it helps me do this, which is something that I want to do. Make sourdough bread. Ooh, that means I need to get a starter going. Yeah, that'll be a little while though. I got to get my starter going first. Would you quit your job if YouTube took off? I don't think so. No, I love my job, actually. I love doing what I do. If I could do both and maybe expand on the amount that I upload and still try to manage my full-time job and really dig in and start getting more, more into the YouTube thing, yeah, I'd do that. But I don't know. It'd really have to explode. I'm talking millions of subs, lots of views. A good example of that, I don't know if you guys know Joshua Weissman. That dude went from like, I don't know, 10,000 subscribers to over 1 million, 1.5 million already in like the last year and a half. If that happened, I don't know, I'd really have to think about it, but yeah, that would be amazing. My goal, personally, is 100,000 subscribers, because that means I get a silver play button and I can hang it up in my son's room. My son really wants a silver play button. He's 10. I don't see him getting 100,000 subscribers anytime soon. He does have his own channel, but you know, he's young, and he's got other things he needs to focus on. So if I can get him that silver play button, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't feel bad about running ads. I don't like to run ads, but I feel like that's viewers' ways to support content creators' channels, is to watch those ads. Because when you do, there's a fraction of a cent that goes toward the creator, and those add up over time, and it helps. It helps pay for equipment and food and all that. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing. I guess I should say, if you haven't subscribed and you're still watching, please consider subscribing, or at least go to my channel, watch some of my videos. If you like what you see, then subscribe. Yeah, catchy thumbs and titles do make a difference, but there's a fine line between the clickbaity stuff versus something that's representative of what's in the video, and you really have to be careful there. You don't want to be clickbaity. I don't personally want to be somebody who's trying to be clickbaity, because people will click, start to watch, realize that this is not the content that they were looking for, and then they'll leave and go somewhere else. That doesn't help your channel either. Sous vide. I don't have an immersion circulator, and I don't want to deal with trying to cook sous vide in a pan on the stove. So if I can get into a partnership with a company that makes immersion circulators, then I would be happy to do a few videos on that. Stay soothing, that would attract us to your channel. Stay soothing. Okay, great, thank you. I don't plan on changing that at all. I don't try, so I guess that's just something that happens naturally. Thanks, Rouge Red, appreciate it. Yeah, I guess the 3 most popular videos on my channel would be the bomboloni video, which is those little Italian donuts. My pizza video with the uni oven, and then the focaccia video. Those are the 3 biggies. Then I have a how to make tater tots at home video, which is pretty technical. I got a little flack for that it's, you know, not easy, it's difficult, it's not something you should be doing at home, but it's just for fun. I don't make tater tots like that all the time. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Oh, was I brought up in a city or a village? I grew up in a small town called Plymouth, Massachusetts. It's about 45 minutes south of Boston, Massachusetts. And yeah, that's where I spent my childhood. So it's a pretty small town. If you're familiar with the Pilgrims that came over from England to the United States, that's where the Pilgrims landed, in Plymouth. Not a city guy. Well, I live in Richmond, so I would consider that it's a city, but it's not a first-tier city like New York or Atlanta or LA. I'd say it's a tier 2 city. It's much smaller. But yeah, we do have a city here. I just kind of live on the outskirts of the city. Calming nature. Oh, thank you. That's cool. Good to know. I appreciate the feedback here. It's nice to know why people subscribe. So I'm definitely not going to try to like pump up my videos now and get all Gordon Ramsay on you guys. I'll keep it soothing and, you know, slow. And do I like to travel? Yeah, I love to. We don't travel as much anymore. I'd say we go 1 or 2 times a year somewhere. The last place that we traveled to was Mexico for a week with some friends, and I'll be doing that again in September. But we have an interest in coming over to Europe. We were supposed to go to France to visit my uncle and aunt this summer, but obviously COVID is throwing a monkey wrench in that. Where have I been in my life? Well, I grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and then I moved down. I went to college in Connecticut, and then I finished up college or school in Virginia, and that's where I've been ever since, in Richmond. Definitely, yeah, the calming voice. You guys really like the soothing voice. I didn't realize that my voice was so soothing. Soothing. Stay true to myself, always. Always. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I have some French toast to eat, and I gotta make some food for the rest of my family. So thanks so much, y'all. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm gonna try to do this frequently. Hopefully without any technical issues. I'll try to work on that a little bit. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much. See you guys later. Love y'all.